Hey guys, and welcome back to the Exodus channel, your home for the best crypto videos. Hit those like and the subscribe buttons and we will keep the videos coming. CBDCs stand for Central Bank Digital Currency. CBDCs are developed on centralized blockchains by governments who wish to maintain full control over the network. Many governments have already been moving towards cashless societies, but with the global pandemic, it has actually quickened the transition from a manual to a more digital world. According to a new CBDC tracker from the Atlantic Council, 83 countries making up over 90% of the world's economy are exploring CBDCs. 5 countries have already launched their own digital currency, all of them being Caribbean tax havens who perhaps want to maybe safeguard against the prospect of economic sanctions. So these are Grenada, the Bahamas, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Antigua Barbuda. Another 14 states, including China, are currently testing pilot versions of their own digital currency. This centralized government-controlled digital yuan is seen as a key development. It will actually help the Chinese government streamline international trade with countries and organizations that have signed up to the ambitious Belt and Road Initiative.
The BRI is a gigantic plan for a global network of ports, roads, railways, and other infrastructure to connect China to the world.
Other nations that are currently in the testing stage include Sweden, South Korea, and Thailand, which is actually working on a multiple central bank digital currency bridge in partnership with China and the United Arab Emirates. And then there's oil-rich Bahrain, which is still in the research stage and has chosen to actually partner with corporate banks like JP Morgan to patent their own original system of cross-border payments, which will be settled in US dollars. The United States is still also in the research phase, with the Boston Fed and researchers at MIT tasked with figuring out how to make a digital currency that is fast, secure, and resilient, and basically good enough to fulfill the needs of the world's largest economy. So let's discuss some of the potential benefits of CBDCs. Paying a friend who lives in the same country as you will only take a few seconds, and the same might be true for friends that actually live in different countries.
American currency.
Cross-border payments have the potential to be settled instantly with minimal fees. Now compare that to today's reality, where some of the world's poorest people are still reliant on payment intermediaries like Western Union, which actually has fees of up to 10%.
I have no sympathy for them, they overcharge.
Fees would also be reduced drastically for merchants, who will be able to circumvent credit card processing fees. Now this would be great news for both small and large businesses. CBDCs also promise efficient stimulus payment delivery. So the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted this weakness in the US financial system when the government struggled to deliver stimulus checks quickly. This meant those in need of financial relief were often found to be at the back of the line due to their lack of access to financial services. Assuming that access to digital state money will only require a phone, CBDCs could make it easier for governments to provide targeted welfare payments.
Now we own you.
Centralized government currencies can effectively be tagged to make them valid only for purchasing certain goods like food. The same principle can actually be applied to ensure that foreign aid reaches the people who need it most, instead of being squandered by inefficient or corrupt governments. But to most crypto enthusiasts, the idea of having a centralized cryptocurrency that actually has the power back to the world governments and of course banks that sponsor them is pointless at best.
Spiritual currency. What?
One of the obvious downsides of CBDCs is that governments will still be able to freeze individual accounts, reverse transactions, and prevent people from spending their money on things like Bitcoin, which may be seen as an unwanted competitor.
So we see how El Salvador with Bitcoin will disrupt a major corporation, man.
Governments will also have access to unprecedented amounts of financial data, and in the case of countries that indulge in serious oppression and human rights violations, this centralization of data could lead to very grave consequences.
Because you have to be in total control of everything.
Another danger of a centralized blockchain is total loss of funds, as the keys and data are held in one single place. So this means one successful hack, say from a competing government with a stronger cyber warfare team, could be disastrous. And here's the best bit. Digital currency holders could still suffer the effects of inflation. Minting new digital dollars for further bailouts and economic stimulus will see the purchasing power of the currency decline, just like it has done with the US dollar. However the future of cryptocurrencies play out, CBDCs will likely be a part of it, for better or for worse. The digital economy will almost certainly become a metaverse of centralized and decentralized blockchains, some of which will host hundreds of different cryptocurrency and utility tokens for you to choose from. After a run of thousands of years, we are living in an era which will see the final shift away from physical currency. Arguments for and against Bitcoin and CBDCs tend to become quite political, but in reality, it all comes down to trust.
Trust us? These 5 banks? Hell no.
Which currencies are you more likely to trust? A decentralized network like Bitcoin or government cryptocurrencies? Let us know your pick in the comments below and why.
Removing the clearinghouse and replacing it with, what's the word? It's not consortium. Cartel, that's the word. With a cartel of the same market makers who have manipulated and compromised every market in history, and doing that in a way that closes this from transparency. That's not a recipe for efficiency, immutability, security, transparency. That's not a blockchain. That's a bullshit.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content useful, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more crypto videos from Exodus.